pushed around, always lost, not found, but I didn't realize. Like a giant standing in my way, leading me astray. Now it's time for me to rise. I knew I had to find myself. Turns out I'm on my own. I won't let it go.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're joining from. What's good, friends? It's F. Dot and your boy Turtle here one more time. Week 4 of the grid here in the Alpine Lodge.
That's right, baby. Week 4, F. Dot. You know, you looking super cute today. I like the fit. You got the glasses, the hair. And last week, you were also looking pretty cute today. You are consistent right now, week to week, man.
That's what I'm saying, bro. This week you took the glasses off, but you got your hair going on.
Okay.
I feel it.
And we got the hoodie too. Everything's starting to come together, man.
Yo, next week, I'm going to be in my spot. I'm not going to move my camera because then 7 people in production will yell at me. But right here, I'm like surrounded by boxes. You guys have no idea. And so next week I'll be in the new joint. I'll be in the new threads, the Alpine threads. Gotta watch out. Ahead of us, week 4 is going to be insane, but week 3 was also just as insane. If you missed it, don't worry. We've got a video. Roll the tape.
Oh, that's a good pass in the middle. Percy, I like the slow play too, and the little chip. This is where we shine. Look at him. Look at my boy go. Look at my boy go. I mentioned him, and he pops up. But look at the placement, okay? If we come in with this kind of shooting, we've had so many shots in just the past minute. Last weekend, I saw comparisons of Percy and Sypical, and now Percy, he gets the flip reset dunk against Sypical, the arguably best player in North America. Come on.
We'll see.
And I tell you, focus on the solo play. Like that, what is that 50? That goes in. Okay. This is a gift. We will take it, Percy.
What's the matter? This is team pride, bro. You wanted to like joke about your shirt and rub it in my face that you had your shirt.
Who has a Santa Claus hat just chilling? Who has a Santa Claus hat just?
I'm all in, bro.
Did you plan this?
I'm all in, bro.
I'm sorry that I don't understand the sophisticated talk, okay? I dropped out of college, but Percy, he's not dropping the bomb. I don't even know how to
No, that was good. He's not dropping the ball. He's getting good grades. Percy A+. This is our kind of one shot.
That's our last chance, bro. Our one opportunity to start playing Lose Yourself by Eminem, please. Not the best hit for Majicbear. That's on.
I try to avoid, dude, the Eminem Lose Yourself reference. I can't hit, like, it's in every esports cast. I can't handle it.
Oh, so you're calling me basic as we get scored on. But we actually have a game set up. This was probably not my idea. I'm gonna get clapped. This is my left cheek, this is my right cheek. I'm gonna get spread all the way to the ends of the earth. No. This man is freestyling on me, dude. Oh my god. Stop. Bro, I swear.
Oh man. He does nutmeg you, my guy.
F-Dot literally has an RLCS NA. Oh my god.
What?
Dude, I'm nervous, bro. I'm nervous. I was put under this pressure. I'm getting in the zone now. We're not gonna talk about it.
Little baby jump there.
Just stop.
Welcome back, friends, and that was week 3. One for the books for sure. Turtle, we were talking about like week number 1, we really struck out as a team. But week 2, Alpine seemed to kind of like learn a little bit. In week 3, we really took the field by storm. So week number 4, if all things kind of go in that direction, we should learn some new tools, new tricks, right?
Definitely. Week 3, we came out the strongest, I think, we've seen out of Alpine, but fizzled out a little bit. We got some great experience against SSG in week 3 and also in week 2. So I'm happy we're playing against one of the best teams. We also have the bracket for today I'm excited to look at. We've got SSG in our bracket as well, so we could get experience later down the line in playoffs, man.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Let's take as we look towards who we're going to be playing. G2, one of the stronger teams up on top. We'll dive deep in just a little minute. But Space Station Gaming versus Charlotte Phoenix. Space Station, kind of the upper card there. Kansas City Pioneers versus Pittsburgh Knights. I think that's going to be an even match. That should be fun to look at. And then Susquehanna versus XSET. I want to shout out my man Alpha Kep recently. Had kind of a real human scare on the timeline, talking about some health issues, but everything's all good. And, you know, when we play you in Rocket League, I'm going to be mad. I'm going to be angry. I'm going to be not so nice. But right now, we're all people, dude. Yeah. And it's really cool to see, like, you know, a member of the Rocket League community, like, we're breathing with relief alongside.
Yeah, man. I mean, we were talking about how it's nice to see people talk about their actual life besides just, you know, a Rocket League clip styling on everybody in the game. And to know that he's okay is definitely great. But our first matchup against G2, man, this is a tough one right out the gate. So if we can take down G2, it's definitely going to be an upset. But Alpine Esports, with the way G2 have been so 50-50 in the grid compared to the regional event, I think we've got a good chance, man.
Yeah, that's a really big deal here. Look, G2 are... That's the team. That's the squad, right? You know, we see Rizzo, Chicago, JKnaps. I mean, you compare to I guess the other 3 teams that are up top there, Typical and Space Station, and then you know what Squishy's doing with this squad. But G2 is one of those Mount Rushmore squads. So this is going to be tough. But the fact that you brought it up, you know, the grid not being, I don't want to be disrespectful, but players play high on large stages, and realistically, the grid, weekly, guaranteed competition. I don't know if G2 has brought their A game every single time.
Well, the great thing is, you know, you're talking about big stages and a lot on the line. And Alpine Esports, in the regional event, we made it to the playoffs. I think it's something to be proud of when you make it to the playoffs in grid, but that's just over one day. But to be consistent in North America in the first regional event, Alpine beat so many great teams, played fantastic, made it to the same spot as G2. We didn't make it to semis, but the fact that we even made playoffs in regional event number 1 says so much about this roster. If you had asked me if in week 1 of the grid, would we be making playoffs in the regional, I might have been a little bit hesitant to say yes. But now after seeing our results, getting to practicing against Space Station, now up against G2, I mean, these guys are ascending to the top, bro. We just watch them every single step of the way.
I got to agree there. You know, this is definitely one where I think 3 weeks ago, I go, all right, we lose automatically. Maybe. See you later. But week 4, I mean, here this is actually a big old maybe. People that have been excited to see the bubble teams kind of come and make their mark. People are looking at Alpine to be one of these rival series teams transitioning into the RLCS sort of upper echelon. And if you want to rep on the on your real life as well, you could do that. Hit exclamation point merch in the chat, and you can wear the same uniforms that the boys are wearing.
It's
Turtle
so
wearing it. I mean,
bro, we got the champion sponsor. I'm not even just saying this. Like,
it's legit.
It's comfy as could be. I could fall asleep right now in the sweatshirt. I'm feeling good, that's why I'm confident right now. Okay, I'm repping the boys. Jordan slapped me in the 1v1 in boomer mode, so I feel like my confidence was at an all-time low. I put the sweatshirt on. I'm ready to go.
Yeah. So you're gonna beat him again later?
I mean, I'm not gonna be beating Jordan, but Majicbear, I'm gonna be tossing Majicbear all over the place because I'm gonna hit him with the right hook first because in the game, you know, we've got a lot of crazy mutators to give me the advantage. Okay, it might have not have gone the way we wanted to against Jordan, but against Majicbear, it's over, bro. It's over.
Sure.
You're supposed to back me up, man.
I believe in you.
You were just laughing at me the whole time. Just laughing at me the whole 1v1 against Jordan. Okay, I don't appreciate that.
Listen. I got yelled at for making too much fun of you last week, so I'll be supportive this.
You got to dial it down, okay? So my feelings. You know, I was talking to my therapist, Steve. I was like, you know what? F dot. I see him in my nightmares. I see him in my dreams, but it's okay.
In your nightmares? Yes. No way.
It's just you behind me with my controller just laughing at me the whole time.
I'm about to tweet this, and you look so bad in this picture.
Wow. This is what I have to deal with, okay?
Oh man, it's so good.
It's worth it so long as Alpine can continue to improve, because these guys, I mean, week 1, we talked about it even a little bit here. They were pretty rough. You know, it felt like the ideas were there. We just couldn't execute. Week 2, we were popping off. We were scoring goals left and right. Week 3, we come out strong out the gate. We fizzled out a little bit. And now, after the regional event, all that experience against the good teams, even against Space Station, I think this could be our weekend.
I'm here for that. Like I said, watching the week 1, 2, and 3 in a row, this is where Coach Miztik just gets excited, right? When you have weekly competition, it's a little bit easier to go to the drawing board and figure things out. Game's on the way, don't worry, folks. Players are getting their stuff in order. But Miztik has absolutely done a good job of bringing us here to week number 4. G2, like I said, I'm still gonna be realistic. This is an uphill battle, but I do think that we can absolutely, win a game, bring some extra, and I'm really eager to see what happens in week number 2. Well, excuse me, game number 2, not week number 2. Game number 2.
It is a bit concerning, mainly because I think that Alpine is going up against G2 right now, who are very demo intensive. If you've seen the regional event, Chicago even said in his interviews that he's going for a lot more demos than normal. Rizzo is also demoing the same amount, which is a lot just off of his previous weekends. He's been literally killing everybody on the field that he can find. So if we can't respond to that, that's when things get tough, because I feel like Alpine tends to shy away from responding with aggression themselves. But I want to see them be just as aggressive as G2 and going for the same amount of demos, because that's the best way to counter them.
I feel that, and we've seen Alpine kind of go for that physical play. One of my favorite plays last week, it was not even a demo, just a little bit of a bump. We actually feature that in the video that we played earlier. Shout out to Doomsy doing a lot of the editing here for Alpine. Cool stuff, and showcasing how the style has really changed. I've really put a magnifying glass on Alpine's ability to control their offense. Things go well for them when they're able to play this controlled style, whether that means slow or not is up in the air. But when they're able to control their side of the field, things go well. And when things kind of go fast, it goes topsy-turvy and not really in the direction. But we saw the adaptation last week of, well, if you're going to play faster than we would like, we'll get more physical. And that, I think, is really important. It's fine to have holes in your game. You just have to have different responses to it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and you also have to step it up a little bit. Even with the demos that we did see last week, if we take it up one more notch, I think we're going to bring it to G2.
Okay, I agree. And we'll see if that's possible. We're going to jump into G2 right about now. Bang. Game number 1 of a possible 5 later on, when, not if, we perform well. Things will change to a best of 7 with a game advantage. It gets a little wonky. We'll explain it later when we get there.
Exactly. See, that's the confidence I like to see out of you, F-Dot. This is what I'm talking about. We're starting this week strong, and already Percy out the gates. Look at that shot. And Majicbear, okay, bit of some speed, but we've got the aggression that I wanted to see. And against G2, you also have to have man coverage. I think that's really important, that you're playing with positioning that is dependent on the other player, not necessarily the ball.
I thought we were just going to get the okie doke there, but Chicago kind of shows up early. Okay, we've got some newly designed cars that I'm liking it. You see that paint job?
Well, who are we talking about here? Who are we looking at?
Oh, it was the Alpine color Octane there. I think it was not. I think it was Majicbear.
Okay. Oh no, yeah, the green color. Okay, it is looking good. It's on theme. You know,
Exactly.
I feel like so long as you're on theme to your team, I mean, unintentional bars first of all, but second of all, that's when you start feeling confident.
Oh no, this
What?
is. I know where we're going today. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And you know, I'll give it to you though. It wasn't bad. Neither was that. A little wide, but Rizzo. People still waking up, I suppose.
Yeah. Oh man, what a shot from Rizzo too. It's just a little bit high. That was a good opening from G2, and that's where they shine the best, is off those 50s and those midfield passes. That's what I'm talking about. You got to try and infiltrate some space where you predict the ball is going to be at. That's the only way to counter that passing game.
Percy kind of messed that one up there. A little bit more patience, and Majicbear might have gotten a shot on goal. But again, I understand like the lack of patience here in the early phase, trying to make things happen.
I haven't seen too many demos either. I was completely wrong in my analysis at the beginning. I thought G2 going to come out super strong, demos left and right. That's how they played in the regional, but it has been a quiet game for them.
Well, for what it's worth, they gave us a demo in the first like 30 seconds. So maybe that's how they approach the game, but the way Alpine are, because look at what Alpine are doing. They're really getting these soft first touches, and they're really trying to slow things down. And maybe that just provides less of an opportunistic, spot for G2 to look for the demos.
Yeah, definitely. And the fact that we're also staying in net pretty deep, I feel like we're not pushing as much, which definitely makes it harder to find a demo if you can't find anybody outside of that net.
Like that little 1v1 play. But again, we find ourselves on Alpine's side.
Oh, what a 52, Percy. Oh, he's there. The 50 from Magic. This is why we love the 1v1 player himself. Look at this. Squeezes this bad boy out from Chicago, and he got dunked actually right into the midfield. That's a free one. We take those.
Yeah, exactly. And I was just talking about how we didn't have control. Alpine was not in control. That was unlucky for G2, but Alpine laughing to the bank.
Well, and a good job for Majicbear to get that dunk. I think instead of just prioritizing hitting the ball, he was trying to predict where Chicago would be placing it. So a good 50. And that's just one's placed out to a T, really.
Understanding that, like, you're the only... There's nobody behind you to block, so...
Exactly.
Go for the weird 50s. Makes sense. I see it. I see it. I see it. 1:30 on the clock here. Percy. So, what are G2 doing to ensure that, like, Alpine has had possession for maybe 20 seconds this whole game?
Yeah, it's really the passing. I think G2 have some of the best clears whenever they're on point. And rotating solid. And also, if you pay attention to G2, what I admired the most of their regional performance was the fact that when they're rotating out of the net, whenever they're on our side, they look for passes. They look to hit it off the backboard and find somebody who's rotating back who can then bounce it back to the middle. It's almost like every hit is going to somebody, even if they're rotating out.
Ooh, Percy hits it off the ceiling, but 3 G2 jerseys all collapse on the ball. Now they start to spread out as...
What a 50 from Majicbear, too.
Yeah,
9 JKnaps is not easy. Yeah.
You gotta take those, though. Okay. Oh, JKnaps shows up. Good plays there. Half a minute. G2 can absolutely tie this one up in time. But Alpine fans holding their breath. Chicago with a good shot, or would have been if Majicbear didn't throw himself inside of the machine. And we're down to single digits on the clock.
Here we go. We have to hold.
5 seconds.
Oh, what a bomb.
Down the ball. There it is.
Majicbear. I'm so proud of how annoying you are in this match. I'm so proud of it. That's what I want to see.
He was just messing up like the term I want to use, and I got to be very particular. I'm not swearing here, I promise. Mucking up the opponent, like they're getting like grease and just like gunk inside the well-oiled machine that is G2. We're used to seeing you know, the Chicago bone is connected to the Rizzo bone. It's connected to the JKnaps bone. It's connected to the gold bone, right? But all of a sudden, we're just in there like, like pouring like apple juice all on top of everything. And now it's all sticky. Like Majicbear was just in there the whole time, man.
You could have said anything besides apple juice, and you go for apple juice. What?
You don't like apple juice?
I'm just saying, when I think of something like mud, maybe throwing mud, like get Majicbear a bucket to throw mud on the other side, you know, maybe something like that. But you went straight for the apple juice play. I like it.
Well, I was thinking like really sticky. Like what would you spill on your desk that's like sticky?
Coffee.
That's not that sticky.
That is. Are you kidding me? Coffee? Whenever it dries out, bro, the milk. If you pour some milk in that.
Ooh, that was a nice save. But then you're talking about milk, not coffee. I'm just saying.
Oh my. Okay. You know what? You're right. You're right. We're also right about the fact that Majicbear has been popping off too. Credit to him for that demo. And then now almost getting a goal here. He had a little bit of a tight angle, hit a little bit too far wide, but the man has been popping off. And that's the great thing about Alpine is a lot of teams will have that one specific highlight player, but for Alpine, I feel like every other game we have a different player stepping up to bat.
Yeah, that was absolutely one of the things that I really looked for when I started watching Rocket League was, all right, who's the guy and who are the two facilitators?
Yeah,
and usually it's a little bit more amorphous than that, but honestly, it kind of is like that. And on Alpine, Majicbear is the guy, and the other two are the role players. But those, like, that's what it is on paper. But in practice,
well, that's what
it winds up being very different. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun to kind of watch people watch this. Like for example, game number 1 and game 2. I was just about to bring up the fact that Majicbear has been really, really strong on defense, as opposed to being on offense, which is where he usually shines. And there, Majicbear.
Yeah.
Well,
a little rough. It's a frustrating play. That was a good pass from G2 in the corners. Look,
I'm sorry.
Trying to bring the boy down. I think that's such a tough shot or spot to be in too, because Majicbear assumed the ball would roll up on the backboard, but instead G2. That's what I'm talking about. Their midfield passes, man, they always get it out into the middle where nobody can challenge them, so their shot is free.
That's big, because a lot of what, you know, like I said,
the ball.
All right, okay, there it is. Mwah.
You were talking about it. Okay, you mentioned Majicbear on defense not being that great, but then he comes to offense, and he reads the pass, reads the clear beautifully. Nice little tap in, and he's back. He's stolen our hearts yet again.
I mean, this is a set that Majicbear is being the guy, right?
Yeah.
He was doing it on defense for the majority of game 1 and game 2. Like I said, as soon as I brought it up, he got scored on pretty, you know, eye-rollingly, but like, oh well, dude, sample size, etc. This was a nice look from Majicbear, and then finally, he brings the offense as well to tie it up 1-1 versus G2. So
I also see him going for some demos too. The only one right now in Alpine trying to be aggressive, but it's working because he doesn't have too much aggression to deal with himself. It seems like G2 backing up a little bit on that demo game, and maybe it's because they know they have the advantage. If you're G2 going into this, maybe you don't want to play that risky style of having everybody throwing forward, going for demos. You just want to play a solid game, get some shots on net, and that's a good save from Majicbear as he gets cleared out from another 50. Does he have the next save? That's what a pass. And the miss from JKnaps, a little bit unfortunate, but it's that pass into the midfield from G2. That was so scary.
Majicbear staying there, staying behind to play the defensive role there and play it right. Really, really beautiful. A little bit wide the goal, but Alpine finally getting some looks on net. Feels like we had possession in game 1 for maybe 20 seconds, and here in game 2, honestly, a lot of the same. This is the first extended possession period that we've really been able to see here from Alpine, as they just now lose possession. I think they had it for about another 20 just there.
Yeah, and the backboard defense has been, so far, besides that one slip up from Majicbear, very, very clean. It's really hard to keep rotations whenever you go on the backboard. It slows down how fast your car is going. But look at Majicbear, even on the backboard here. He goes in for the dunk. That was such a good pass out to the midfield, but we have an answer for the shot, cutting off the angle, reading the pass, and getting in that lane.
Nicely done here. JKnaps going to be set up, and there was nothing to do about that one. Man. 2-1 now, man.
Wow, that touch. It's an onslaught of midfield passes.
That's just pretty. I like nobody's you know, I think that's one where even the guys on the team are like, oh, man. Like,
yeah.
Sometimes you just got to make the stink face. Like, okay. Not this time, Rizzo. Nice try, though. I appreciate the effort.
He gets scary, man. They're just controlling the midfield boost too. It's so hard. This is where I'm a little bit worried for Alpine in that defense. What a touch from Majicbear. They'll get it around, but he doesn't have the follow-up. The demo and the aggression strikes yet again. Game 2 not looking the best. Probably going G2 unless we can maybe pop off with a minute left.
I mean, there's a minute left, 2 goals to get. Realistic, yes. Possible? I mean, possible, yes. Realistic, I'd say 60 to 70%. You know, it's totally not out of the woods.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about the mid boost, right? Like, I've really been able to parse kind of when the opportune time to grab these like side boosts are in the corners. Yeah. But you were mentioning how G2 is just like dominating these mid boosts. I don't really have a question. I just want you to like, take us to school and talk to us about like mid boosts and how they're important and why you can do it, etc.
Well, the crazy thing about mid boost is it can totally change your approach as Chicago bangs it off the crossbar. It can change how much possession you have. Just if you can control mid boost, you basically have pressure and so much possession. And speaking of all that stuff,
hey, bud,
off the backboard. Okay, we talked about Majicbear, and now it's him. Oh, and the 3-man passing play. Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Oh man, Coach Popovich somewhere out there just clapping his hands right now.
We don't even need the mid boost for that. That was off of one attempt, one passing play down the field, the transition game. 17 seconds left, man. If we can hit one more, I would be flipping out.
All right, well, let's see. 10 seconds to go.
Okay.
Ball's mid.
Majicbear!
Shove towards orange goal. Majicbear misses the opportunity. Percy's here and waiting. Teammate on the right-hand side puts it off the ceiling, and the shot is blocked. Oh, the shot is blocked, baby.
I have no words. That was such a good look in the final moments. Something was flowing between our veins, bro. I have no idea. Where was that in the beginning of the game? That is what I'm talking about. The counterattacks. The counterattacks were all there. We had players upfield receiving passes, giving it back to the midfield, shots left and right, and we kept it close even whenever we were trailing by 2.
Just gotta shake that one off, man. Feeling that one, you score that second goal and you're like, okay, cool. Like, let's talk about the next one.
Yeah, it might be possible.
It ends on that last note, and you're like, I mean, we knew we were gonna lose, man, but like a little
why did we have to get so close?
Right?
We just have to bring that into this game. That was beautiful transitions out of the defense to counter G2 because we were doing it with such fast pace. G2 is so aggressive. If we can bounce out of our defensive end like that, we'll get multiple goals or at least better looks on net.
All right. Well, we'll see if we can. Jumping here into it, of course. That's the 5s, baby. There's a lot of Rocket League to be played, which is, you can look at it 2 ways. Alpine's the up-and-coming team, which means they have more to learn, but also more to obfuscate, right? Like the enemy doesn't know them as well. Or you could look at it, the other side where G2 they get cleaner and more warmer the longer they play. So, glass half full, glass half empty. Which one are you, Turtle?
I don't know. I think that for the most part, I would be in favor of G2, just knowing that they've come out with the aggressive style, but they haven't been as demo intensive, which gives me a lot of hope for Alpine because I feel like when we can respond with our aggression of our own with the demos like Majicbear, whenever he gets thrown forward and is being annoying, that's when we counter them out. And I don't think G2 is even aware of where the boys are or where Jordan is on the other side of the field. How is he in position for this?
I mean,
as he's rotating.
Yeah, Jordan, so he had to change his mind. Jordan was there looking for the rebound, honestly. Jordan was not looking for a pass on goal.
Was that going in originally too?
I don't think so. I think it would have rattled off the side, but you never know, I suppose.
That 50 was crazy.
It looked like it was a little wide, but Jordan showing up there. And I don't, if I'm on the team. Okay, Rizzo.
Bro, I thought, I could have sworn Majicbear was going to get the save. He dodges the demo, fakes out Chicago, almost gets the 50. That would have been an insane play. But keep going after that. I'm sorry. I didn't mean.
Yeah, no, I was just. Dude, I forgot what I was gonna say.
I'm just looking at your face cam and seeing you like stare into the abyss, trying to find. That play was so magical. It literally destroyed your train of thought.
It did. Oh man, I was going, and then I wasn't.
It's okay. We can credit Majicbear for that. That's all we need.
All right, we'll do that.
Speaking of mid boost, okay, I didn't finish my rant before. Okay, Rizzo gives me a little bit of time to finish this real quick. Off the midfield, I think they hit the corner again. Is it another corner pass play? It is. Off the corner. We don't have anybody to follow up. It's so difficult because G2 just keep tossing that ball in the middle.
Over and over again.
Yeah, back and forth. But anyway, the midfield boost. You asked me about it. When you're rotating out on defense, that's when you grab the midfield boost to come back with a full tank. That way you can get a better challenge in. If the person who is controlling the ball and trying to keep it in your half keeps taking those, you don't have any boost when you're rotating back. It's harder to get the save, and it just makes life overall so much more difficult. And G2, so far, have been controlling every single midfield boost whenever they have possession.
Over and over again. Rizzo's going to shut down Jordan right quick, but Majicbear, good clear. I don't think this is going to be an opportunity, but Rizzo does his best to give us an opportunity. Double commit. Majicbear kicks it out.
Okay.
Still
okay.
here, though. Still here, though.
It was looking pretty. It was looking pretty. Oh, and the counter attacks, bro.
Man.
This is the G2 I was a little bit scared of, where they're finding somebody always on the offense with a nice little slot, and then they're consistent with their midfield passing. This is why they're scary, because it's so hard to find somebody to get into that passing lane, man. When you're trying to panic on defense, you don't want to think of, let me rotate and figure out where the positioning is of the other team is. You just look at the ball.
And that's really what Majicbear was doing in game number 1 that is not happening here in game number 3 is that he routinely, I used the word like mucking up, because he was just in those gears, right?
Yeah.
Every single passing lane was just like filled with Majicbear, and
with bumps or something.
Yeah, and they just couldn't make it happen. Whether he was like, bumping the play or physically getting the interception, so to speak, like. And we saw a little bit of that in game 2, enough to make it up and down. Here in game 3, I do not really see that happening. 2 minutes left. That's the change that could happen here for sure.
Well, G2 have gotten that confidence to have somebody get pushed down all the way. They know how to handle Alpine so long as it's a pretty routine attack. I think, like in this instance, even JKnaps, he was last back, and Majicbear just kind of gave away possession. So they're totally fine with leaving somebody all the way forward so they can get a fast counterattack. And that's why our offense just needs to be a little bit more planned out, so we can go for a little bit more passes here and there instead of just throwing that ball to them.
Yeah, like that's something that I had like a whole. You ever have like an internal conversation with yourself, like going back and forth? I was like one of the big things.
Both sides of the argument are there.
Yeah, like Rizzo scored that last one, not this one, the one beforehand, right? And it was off a baseball boom. It was just like, outfield throws to the second baseman. This guy was just waiting there, and that you're just playing 2 players on defense. Is what that means, and it just spirals out of control there. So how are G2 able to play 2-man defense against Alpine and still convert is the problem that Alpine needs to fix, I think.
Yeah, well, essentially, it just comes down to that control and possession game that I feel like every single week we come back to talking about with Alpine. We are the best, and we can calm things down, be in control. Here's an open net to look at, 1 minute and 8 seconds left. It's going to be difficult. Percy puts that one in. You know what? I said it, or I was believing, it wasn't too possible in the end of last game, but we kind of brought it back. So maybe, if we could pop off a little bit and get some Majicbear bumps, some Majicbear interceptions, we'd be looking pretty good.
It's going to be really upsetting when Alpine scores 4 goals.
Yep.
And we lose 5-4 because
in the final seconds after multiple shots on net.
At least one of those that has been scored against Alpine was not okay, Like this.
Oh.
This is just good stuff. Perfect touch there to give it to Chicago.
And then he goes for the bump.
Bump!
Oh my goodness. That's such a clean classic play. It doesn't have too many fancy mechanics. It's very simple, but the decision making is what's impressive about G2.
that's the thing is like you need to be able to hit your layups, right? That's a layup. Easy. Why make things more difficult than they already are in a crazy game like Rocket League? So I like that play.
Well, I mean, we could even adapt that into our own style a little bit here. You know, you notice that midfield give and go. A lot of times I feel like Alpine will be on offense and just try to do a routine corner play where they'll toss into the corner, then hit it out into the midfield. But G2, what they're doing is, yes, they'll go for those corner passes as well, but they'll incorporate some midfield plays all the way from their own defensive end because they're willing to take that risk.
Willing to. This one looking to be number 2 here for G2. If I'm Miztik, this is one where I go in and I go, all right, guys, forget it. Like, you hear me often sit here and talk about, like, almost annoyingly so, how much you can learn from your losses, right? Like, listen, I ain't Mr. Rogers. I'm not sitting here that, like, every loss is Christmas Day and you should like losing more than winning. No, bro, that's not what I'm saying at all. And this is an example of one that you don't really learn much from. You kind of know what went wrong. If I'm the coach, realistically, like, you know, I've coached teams like this before. I walk in and I'm like, you know what happened? And I don't even need to hear the answer.
Yeah.
I just need to hear a yes. And if they say, no, dude, we have no idea. It just got away from us. I go, sit down. But if you're like,
down sport.
Yeah, man. It's like, all right, then forget it. And like play the next game. Like just this happens, dude. This happens to the best teams. You got stepped on by G2. Move on and keep going.
Well, and it's weird to always be like, oh, there's so much to learn. But honestly, I would just be like, look, G2, they're just passing better than you. That's all it is. If you incorporate some of the passes that they're going for in the midfield, I think you'll have a much better game. But the only thing I've been wondering this whole time is Mr. Rogers that guy who sings like the neighborhood song? I always think I'm confused. I don't know why. Is that who you're talking about?
Oh my god, dude. Okay, listen.
Last week you hit
me with the.
I know it's because there was like a movie about him and like there was like a famous actor in it and stuff, and you know he was like, "Welcome to the neighborhood. My name's Mr. Rogers."
That is Mr. Rogers. So I will give you Mr. Rogers more than I'll give you freaking Beyonce.
Yeah. Okay.
When you hit me with the Beyonce is boomer music, I was like,
no, I never. Okay.
You straight up said that.
Oh my god, that's gonna haunt me. That's gonna haunt me now.
I was like, say my name, say my name. You were like, bro, what is what?
I knew what that song was. I was just.
No one needs around you.
Classic.
Say, baby, I love you.
You're not
ain't running,
I'm never giving you aux, bro. I'm sorry.
You joke. You joke.
You probably got some classics in that playlist of yours. I know.
I do. I still be listening to Jay-Z. I'm from New York, but I'm just saying. Mr. Rogers, a little bit more acceptable as like boomer nonsense. But yeah, he's like, Mr. Rogers is like everything. We're all friends. Hold hands. Bro, that's not me at all. But you are supposed to learn from your losses. Last loss, not exactly. You just got beat, kid. And sometimes you just get beat. This already, though, over a minute scoreless, like where G2 last game were just spiraling out of control.
Yeah.
Nice save from Jordan.
Yeah.
This looks better than last time.
I got a little bit scared with that midfield pass. I think Rizzo did a good job tossing that bad boy inside the midfield. And you can even see JKnaps doing it again. It's difficult, but I'm just scared because we don't see somebody getting right up in the face. Whenever that midfield pass comes through, you know we have solid defense. If somebody is right there for the 50, that means we're predicting that pass, getting in the lane super easily, and we can continue to block it out. But in this shot, we're not going to
Oh, that's dirty. This is, look at this.
What is this? Oh, the fake. Oh, it hurts.
Oh, it doesn't even touch it. JKnaps from all the way downtown.
That's how you know they're in our head. Rent-free. It's rent-free, bro. If we're going for that hit, that means we respect him too much.
Insane. I mean, that's nasty. But respect him too much. That is a very real thing. And I don't think a lot of fans at home, like, get that. Right? As a player, this is your world, but like sometimes you talk to players who are the type to, I don't know if you can do this in Rocket League, but sometimes you talk to players who are like, I turn nameplates off. I don't want to know who I'm playing against.
I think that's
I have always rejected that. You like that?
You rejected that? I think that's awesome. I think that's amazing. I didn't even, when I was playing, I wish there was a way to turn off nameplates. I didn't even know there was a way right now to turn off nameplates. Like, if you can actually get rid of the name, that would be ideal.
Well, see, my problem with that is play style is a real thing, especially in a game like Rocket League. And so you do have to, listen, when you're going up against Kobe, like, rest in peace, but when you're going up against Kobe, you have to know and respect that he's going to be on you, like, you know, red light, green light, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're playing against somebody that's a little bit more lax on defense, you can get away with different things. And so I understand the idea of like respecting who's in front of you, but like at the same time, respecting them too much, like you can get away. These people, you know, G2, Rizzo, JKnaps, these guys do make mistakes, and that's where you have to look to pepper them.
Well, it's 100% difficult to even not argue for that, because I mean, if you're going up against Justin, somebody's got to get up in front of his face. It's just you, JKnaps going for a shot. You want to get in front of it, where otherwise maybe you wouldn't. But I don't know. I just feel like when I'm going into a series, I would rather learn that myself to see, okay, this guy's the shooter, this guy's the striker, and not just kind of cloud my mentality thinking they're just better than me or they have that skill over me.
I get that, and I think there's really something to say about like turning your brain off for that moment, right? Like if you're a rival series call up, you know, and you're out here going up against Justin, maybe that does like kind of, nobody's gonna say scare.
We're good.
Like nobody's gonna say scare you, but like, you know, maybe that does intimidate you a little bit. But oh man, the playstyle info is so important. I guess maybe I overvalue.
Oh, is that in? Is that no?
Why'd you want that to go in?
No. I didn't want this to go in.
Why did you say?
I'm sad. Is that in? And then I said no when it went in. Okay. That was a banger. We had everybody so pushed up, everybody being aggressive. I loved it. But the counterattack, it was too fast, bro. That shot was too much.
Oh man. 40 seconds on the clock. 2 goals to go. Possible.
100%.
I think you got to score right now before 20 seconds, because I think 20 seconds is what you need to score. You can obviously score in less than 20 seconds, but to have like, you know, this moment team really hard on defense. Man, I think that's going to be it.
Unless the midfield pass maybe. Okay. Blocked. It was. I saw the midfield pass. We had a good look. But against G2, man, it really was just a comparison between, you know, a team that's starting to figure out the ropes of RLCS passing versus a team who is experienced with that midfield play.
And you know, this is, oh man, what's unfortunate for Alpine. What's unfortunate for Alpine there is how their good games came at the beginning of the series.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that you can go reflect and look at the way the series went earlier on. But realistically, I think one of the issues here is the fact that they weren't able to keep it going. And again, glass half full, glass half empty. Either they were good in the early stages because G2 had to download them, and so, or they were good in the early stages because they figured G2 out, then couldn't bottle that lightning. I mean, I personally, I think it's more the former than the latter. But seeing Alpine, I'm sorry, but not getting swept by G2 is a superlative. Like, that's something to bring home. I'm sorry. People aren't going to like me saying that, but G2's that good of a team, man. Like,
it's nothing to be upset about for sure. I think that, but I think there's also a case where, you know, our midfield passing has been better in the past, and I think that we have what it takes. But when it comes down to coming out of your defensive end with boost, that's how much we were getting starved out by G2. They were constantly taking the midfield boost, constantly taking our corners, so that when we did get it clear, when we did go on offense, it's like we couldn't try to develop anything that was too crazy or too creative because we didn't have the energy, the boost in the tank to go for a play like that. We had to go for the safe attacks, the safe approaches on offense, which worked maybe a fourth of the time. But after that, you know, where else are we going to get our chances from?
That's fair. You know, looking for the follow-ups in that midfield boost you were talking about, how important that midfield boost is, and just how much it was denied by G2. Right. Alpine wasn't able to get any. We are going to go grab some midfield boost of our own. The grid on Alpine Esports. We'll be right back after this.
say their lives to show